Houston, we've got a problem. We don't have any head pins, and I've got to make 25 pair of earrings. All I have is ear wires, so I need to have earrings just like this, little jelly bean style amethyst gemstones. And I'm going to show you real quickly how we can make our own head pins that really kind of match what we have for the ear wires. So first, let me tell you what kind of tools we'll need. Some flush cutter pliers, some mandrel pliers that have about 2mm and 3mm mandrels, and some kind of flat nose pliers. The materials that we're going to need will be some 22 gauge, I'm using silver, round wire. Of course, 25 pair of jelly beans. And what we'll do is cut off from this spool about 4-inch sections of the round wire. And I've already got some pre-cut, but it'll be simple enough to do. Once we have these cut, what we're going to do is actually make a little coil on the very bottom. Instead of having a flat head or a round ball head, we'll just make a little, looks like a coil spring. So let me show you how to do it. Really simple. Take your mandrel pliers, and we're going to take the 2mm mandrel, and I've barely got the wire sticking through. I should not be able to feel that. And I'm going to start coiling this just like a spring. But if you look closely, you'll notice that the very tip of that wire is not curved quite right, so I'll cut just a bit of it off and continue coiling just as if it were a coil spring. I'm going to get 3, maybe 4 coils on this, so that it looks similar to this. And now we'll take our jelly bean, and before we put it on, I'm going to take this wire and loop it through itself. If you were to look closely, here was my beginning of the coil, and over here is the end. So I'll take this and wrap the wire so that it goes through the coil. Something similar to this. And pull it snugly by finger. And now we're going to slip the jelly bean on. I can tighten that last bit of coil up by holding onto the wire and pulling down sharply. Something similar to this. Last thing to do is to form our eyelet. So let's go ahead and take the mandrel pliers again. And this time I'm going to use the 3mm mandrel. And I will simply bend this over at 90 degrees. And at that point, I will turn my pliers 90 degrees and spin that long piece of wire around, and again turn that 90 so that I have an eyelet similar to what you see here. And I'm going to hold the eyelet with my flat nose pliers and wrap this 3, maybe 4 times so I have quite enough wire. But I do want to tighten this coil so that it somewhat matches what I have on the very bottom. I can almost get another coil loop. And now we'll simply trim off the excess use my pliers to take that free end that I've just cut and wrap it around the remainder of the coil so that it doesn't catch your fingers. You want to have happy fingers. And if you need to straighten it a little bit, we'll do so. So that looks similar to this. Now I already have another one of these made, so all we would have to do is attach these to some ear wires that we already have. And if you haven't seen it, we already have another video out on how to make different ear wires. But as you'll recall, you simply want to bend out the free end of that eyelet towards you. Slip the earring onto it. My fingers are too big. And then bend it right back where it was so that you have something like this. And the coil on the bottom matches the coil up top. You've got 1/2 of a pair of earrings. I hope that you keep on trying to do this, particularly when you run out of head pins. Happy holidays.